you can kind of have a moral sense about something, and then your political, uh, you know, ideas or whatever are maybe kind of like just stuck together from whatever you're swimming in, like
Yeah,
it's just like, well, that makes sense, and this seems like a good thing, and this kind of registers with me as
sure.
something that I like. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And actually, yeah, I think sort of just a related thing to that kind of brought up was sort of like a broad theme that we've talked a little bit about, but I haven't really dug into, is that there's a lot of things that you kind of have to navigate in life where um, like you get uh, things will seem kind of crazy to you, and you go, "Oh, that can't be a real claim because it's crazy," because obviously that's not true. But then I don't know, maybe I said this with vaccines or something like that, where um, it's very easy to be like, okay, uh, there's some sort of theory floating around in the culture, and most people make fun of it because it's obviously wrong or something like that. But then there's always these kind of exceptions that kind of crop up where um, it turns out to be true. And I think that that's one thing that around drugs and politics and all these kind of things, like it all really kind of ends up being this thing where um, uh, yeah, like it's kind of, yeah, with politics, and it's like, what I mean, like you can kind of with kind of opinions around drugs and stuff, that within certain subcultures the assumptions become so kind of like fixed for people in that kind of region of the culture or something like that kind of thing. So I don't know if that makes sense at all, but yeah. um,
You're talking about like how a certain position or a certain take on something becomes kind of like baked into a cultural, like a subculture.
yeah, and also that the reversal sometimes ends up being true. Like you were kind of hinting a bit about this sobriety not being the default or something like that. That people should be trying, like people think that you should be trying these things, or you should use them in certain kind of situations or something like that.
Hmm.
And uh, it becomes this kind of like common sense, and then uh, um, when you start proposing something different, it's like it could be true, but most people would just think it's either absurd or it's a part of a different subculture, which just kind of has strange
Right.
ideas, like Mormons or something like that.
Yeah, it's
So
like you have to kind of abandon a whole package of ideas and like subscribe to a whole new package of ideas. You can't just change your mind about one particular thing,
yeah,
or you
yeah,
can't feel differently about one thing. You sort of have to
yeah,
take it as like a package deal.